Assalamu alaikum friends, how are you all? In my previous video, I discussed October-November 2022 paper 1, variant 12 and section A theory and methods का question number 1. ठीक है, so आज इस वीडियो में I will be discussing question number 2 which is part of section B and it is culture, identity and socialization. So let's check out the source. Children and young people have to learn, okay, let me zoom it, how to behave in society. Negative sanctions are often used to teach children right from wrong and help to create value consensus in society. Sanctions have an important influence on lifestyles. However, societies are becoming more culturally diverse and definitions of masculinity and femininity continue to change. Okay, so part A, what is meant by the term masculinity? And it's a 2 marks question. So let's check out कि आपकी मार्किंग स्कीम में इन्होंने आपसे क्या डिमांड किया है कि आंसर में क्या चीज़ जो है वो आप लिखेंगे. दैट विल हेल्प यू सिक्योर फुल मार्क्स. 1 mark for a partial definition, example doing a physical job like construction. ठीक है, so you can also see कि एक it's just a thing that is related to physical job. ठीक है, मतलब just a physical act that a male can do. ठीक है, but what about the attitudes that a male has? ठीक है, what about the behavior, yeah, you can say the personality that men has. Okay, so 2 marks for a clear definition, example expected attitudes and behavior associated with being a man in a particular culture, because we know that women are expected to behave in a certain way, like they need to be polite. Okay, they need to be more towards home. Okay, and they are expected to have sympathetic and loving nature, loving attitude, whereas men are tend to be you can say more aggressive, and they are tend to be risk takers. So this is what the question is basically demanding you to write. It's not just about the job that males do, it's also about their attitudes and the behavior. Okay, now let's move on towards part B. Describe 2 sanctions used to control young people. Sanctions are basically how will you define sanctions? Okay, it's basically a method that is used to regulate a behavior. Okay, and you know that you have both positive sanctions and you have negative sanctions as well. Okay, so what is actually the examiner demanding you to write in a 4 marks question? Detentions in school, young offenders may be tagged, given a curfew, or be given a custodial sentence for juvenile crimes, exclusion from school, ostracism from a peer group, being told off by parents, being grounded, curfew. Positive sanctions such as rewards and praise are used in the family and schools. Negative sanctions such as punishments given for breaking rules and regulations in school or in the home. 1 mark for each correctly identified point, up to a maximum of 2. Okay, so basically you need to write 2 types of sanctions that can be used to control the behavior of young children or young people. So it will be very good that if you write 1 positive sanction. What can be a positive sanction? You can write that young people can be rewarded and praised in front of people of their family or among the children at school if they have done something good and if their behavior is appropriate. Then this is basically the example. And the other point can be about the negative sanctions. You can write they can be punished if they have broken any rules or any regulations in the school or in fact in the house. Okay, so you can further write that they might be um, expelled from school, okay, or at home, the parents might not be talking to their children. Okay, so something like this, in which you need to tell a reason and then you have to give an example. So you will be able to secure full marks. Okay, then we have question C. Explain how societies are culturally diverse, and it's a 6 marks question. It's basically how societies, different societies have different cultures. So what is the examiner expecting you to write? Language, the language spoken may vary between different cultural groups, because you know that if you are living in, even if you are living in Pakistan, okay, you have variety of languages. You have Urdu, you have Memni, you have Balochi, you have Saraiki, you have Pashto language. So you have various languages. Next, we have norms of dress and appearance can be very different between groups. For example, in northern Paris, many people can be seen wearing the shaky clothing of West Africa. So you have different groups that have different sense of dressing and appearance. If you see in Pakistan, Balochis wear a certain kind of dress. Okay? Sindhis have another, you can say, kind of dressing. Okay? Whereas if you see the Eastern tradition, okay? So the girls are expected to wear shalwar kameez and dupatta, whereas if you see the burger type families, yeah, children of those families, like it's normal for them to wear fitted jeans or sleeveless shirts. So different groups have different sense of dressing and appearance. Food and drink clearly signifies cultural diversity. This can be seen in how people eat, example chopsticks, or what people eat, example halal. So food and drink also varies between societies and cultures. Like in Islam, Muslims are, you can say, not allowed to eat uh, the meat of pig, and in Hindus they are not allowed to eat cow. Okay, so there are different norms regarding what to eat and what to drink. And as you know that Muslims are also not allowed to drink alcohol, so whereas it's very common in Western societies. Traditions such as rituals and festivals, these can differ across religious groups, example Ramzan and Christmas. So we also have difference in traditions and rituals and functions and festivals. Like Muslims, they fast in the month of Ramadan. They celebrate Eid al-Fitr. They celebrate Eid al-Azha. Whereas the Christians, they have different events. They celebrate Christmas. Then we have different groups like Hindus. They celebrate Diwali and something like this. So there are different traditions for different cultures. Some societies have a variety of subcultures who may follow distinct norms and values. Example, youth subcultures such as goths and punks. So you can also write that in certain societies there is a trend of youth subcultures. Okay, because certain people of the same age group, they form subcultures and they follow their own rules and norms and regulations which differ from the mainstream society. So these are the possible points that you can write in this question to gain marks. Okay. Explain why traditional femininity is changing, and it's an 8 mark question. What is the examiner expecting you to write? Because girls are now encouraged to study the same subjects as boys in school and are no longer doing traditional feminine subjects such as home economics, which preferred them for future roles as housewives and mothers. So, if you see from educational perspective, So, previously, a few years back, girls were encouraged to take subjects like home economics, in which they were taught how they can, you can say, cook, how they can stitch, and things like this, that will be aiding them in their future housewife roles and of mothers as well. But now, girls are encouraged to study science subjects, engineering subjects, and which are now, you can say, a trend in girls. Like they are moving towards their careers, and there is now no difference between subject selection among boys and girls. Then we have, because the old divisions between expressive and instrumental roles are breaking down, so the traditional family roles for women are changing. In the second point, you can tell how the expectations between females and males are changing, because previously females were considered to be very, you can say, expressive. They need to be the caretakers of the family, they need to take care of their homes, and the men were supposed to, you can say, work outside, and they were the breadwinners of the family. But now these traditional family roles are changing. Now women are also more career oriented, they are moving outside their homes to work, and there are certain men who are taking interest at home, and they are also doing the household chores and sharing responsibilities with their wives at home. Because patriarchal structures are breaking down, with many societies having strong and assertive female leaders, example New Zealand. So there are various countries in which now the leading posts are took taken over by the females. So we can say that now the patriarchy of men is coming down, it's declining, and women are, you can say, breaking up this ceiling, and they are, you can say कि वो अब आदमी और औरत जो है मध्य मुकाबल आ गए हैं, ठीक है, और एक साथ now they are struggling and they are working hard. Again, next point can be, because anti-discrimination laws have given women and girls the same rights as men, enabling them to break free from traditional roles. Now, previously there was discrimination between men and women, but now there is no such discrimination, and there are certain laws that are protecting women and girls, and there is equality that is being achieved. Because positive role models, example in the media, are inspiring women and girls to take up new roles and deviate from traditional representations of femininity. Now you can also see, like, mass media is playing a very important role in influencing females of nowadays. So girls of this era, they are more, you can say, copying certain role models, and if they are career oriented, so the girls also want to be career oriented. If they are moving outside their house to work to earn, so girls of this era are also motivated and are following the footprints of their role models. Then we have, because gender identity is now contested, postmodernists argue the boundaries between femininity and masculinity are breaking down. The postmodernists argue that in this new era, there is no such difference between femininity and masculinity, and there is no such gender bias that previously existed. Social stereotypes of women are now being challenged and are breaking down. Hence, women are not just being defined as mothers and carers, for example. Now you can write any example. So it's right. It's like this, that previously this there was a stereotype associated with women, that they need to stay at home, they need to take care of their homes, they need to take care of their children, and women are not expected to go outside and work because it's the duty of men. But now such stereotypes are breaking and are at decline, and women are in fact going outside and they're earning. So we have talked about all of the perspective from educational side, from family side, and from work perspective as well. And we have also included the perspective of sociologists in our answers, because it is very important to support your answer with sociological perspectives as well to gain marks. Okay, now moving on towards the next part. To what extent does value consensus exist in modern industrial societies? First, again, you need to, like, it's a 15 marks question, so you need to write arguments that are in favor of this statement that yes, value consensus does exist, and then you have to write arguments against this perspective, and then you have to provide a solid conclusion. If you just write arguments in just the favor, so you are just going to get half marks and you won't be able to get whole of the 15 marks. Okay, so what are the expected arguments that favor this statement? Functionalist theory argues the institutions in society work together to instill shared values and social harmony. As you know, that functionalists basically believe that the society works as a whole. Okay, all of the parts and all of the institutions of the society are being interlinked, and they share same values, and you can say harmony, and you can say consensus is being achieved, and like the whole society is being working in a systematic way. There is no inequality. Then another argument that is in support for this is Marxist theories of ideological apparatus argue that the media create a false class consciousness, and in that sense there are still shared capitalist views into society. Now, the Marxist also states that if we see the mass media, it still portrays that there is no such inequality, and uh, every member of the society is being treated equally. So, we can say that according to the media, we have a false class conscious picture of the society, that there is no such discrimination among classes. This is what the media portrays. So we can say this statement in favor that yes, value consensus among the society is being achieved. Then it says different parts of a country share the same values. Whether you live in an urban or rural setting, there are some shared values. Now, this thing states that even if you are living in any urban area, or if you are even living in a rural area, you have certain shared norms and values that needs to be followed. So it's kind of not practical, but still we can say this thing in favor of this argument that yes, there are still certain shared values that are being followed between these settings. Then we have processes of secondary socialization see individuals learning common norms and values. Now, agencies of secondary socialization, we are talking about those agencies such as the family, the peer group, religion, media. What do they do is that they instill shared norms and values among the male gender and the female ones. So they, once they grow up, they share things that are common, and yes, then we are able to achieve value consensus. Hidden curriculum in school teaches all children the values of hierarchy and respect for authority. So if you talk about the educational systems and the hidden curriculum that is being followed by the school, like we can say the ethics, the manners, the etiquettes, that you can say enables all of the children to follow certain norms and values. certain rules and regulations. So yes, a shared sense of belonging and social harmony is being achieved among all of the children of different schools. Then we have a key role of the media is to reinforce shared values and norms of behavior. Media is also playing a vital role in reinforcing values and norms that are shared, that are not provoking differences between people of different societies, but it aims of you can say promoting things that are equally being shared. Globalization has led to a shared global culture that disseminates Western values throughout the world. Then we have globalization, in which people from all over the world they follow a global culture, and the values try to regulates, and through globalization a set of you can say shared culture is being spread in all of the countries of the world. Then we have the formal agencies of social control ensure people observe the laws and thus demonstrate value consensus. So, what are the agencies of formal social control? We have the police, we have the court. So, there are certain laws that are applied to all of the criminals, to all of the people that commit theft or any such crime. So, through this, you can say that these agencies also try to achieve value consensus. Equal opportunities and meritocracy in the workplace ensure that people accept the values of achieved status. So, if we check out the workplace, so there are certain policies like if you achieve certain targets or if you achieve certain goals, only then you are able to get opportunity, you are able to get promotions. Otherwise you won't be able to achieve success. So there are certain you can say benchmarks which you need to achieve in order to get promotions. So it is followed by all of the employees of a workplace. Religion remains a powerful agency in society, and religious morality is seen in shared values in society. For instance, if you are followers of Islam, so Islam encourages certain types of behavior and discourages certain things. So it applies to all of the Muslims who follow religion Islam. So anybody who does not follow certain things that are prohibited, so he might, you can say, he will be sinful. So this is what and how you can say different through different agencies we are able to achieve value consensus. Okay, now if we see the arguments that are against, like we are not able to achieve value consensus in society. So, what are the points? Particularistic values learned via primary socialization are likely to be different between families. Um, you can say that not all of the families teach their children certain values. Okay, for instance, if you see that you have only girls um, in a family and there is no boy, so the girls will be the girls might be socialized in a way that once they grow up, they have this thing in mind that they need to be career oriented, they need to support their parents, they need to support their family, and they need to work. Okay, so you can say not all of the girls might be more towards the feminine traditional feminine role, such as the homemaker of the family or taking care of the children, so they might be career oriented. Then we have Marxist and feminist theories argue society is based on conflict, which would suggest there isn't value consensus. So basically, if you see Marxist concept, so yes, there is a big class difference, the upper class and the lower class. The rules and regulations discriminates the lower class, and the upper class is only able to achieve success in their lives. And if you see the feminist theory, feminists also argue that still the society is male dominant, and women are not even able to achieve that post which men are able to achieve. So still there is discrimination on the basis of gender. Official crime statistics demonstrate that many people break the laws and thus don't have value consensus. So if we see the official crime statistics that are being reported, so there are many people who still break laws. um, there might not be strict laws, or there might be you can say carelessness in you can say catching up those people that break laws. So you can say, okay, through this thing, value consensus between the societies is not achieved. Subcultures emerge which often have different values to the mainstream society. So we can see that in Western societies we have a lot of subcultures uh, that follow their own rules and regulation, their own norms and values that are different from the mainstream society. So how do we stop those? So we say that still those subcultures exist and it's very difficult to achieve value consensus. Societies are now multicultural, and that cultural diversity brings with it a diversity of values. Nowadays, within a country, you have different societies, you have different cultures, so it's very difficult to have a uniform and one single culture. That's why you have different values. So it's very difficult to create value consensus. Values are constantly changing. Things that weren't acceptable in the past, example same sex marriage, are now viewed differently by different members of society. We can say that the perspectives regarding certain values are changing. Um, like they have given the example of same sex marriages, and we can also say that cohabiting couples are in increasing, and you can say people are preferring to live without marriages. So it's becoming very common in different members of societies. So now it's very difficult that value consensus is being achieved. So what will be the conclusion? So it's going to be like, if we see practically, so we can say that in certain cases value consensus might be achieved, but if we see the arguments that are given against this statement, they are more powerful and they hold more weightage. So because we cannot neglect what is happening in the current situation. Okay, because if we see things from nowadays, we can say that the importance of family is being changing. Okay, there are more diverse rates, there are more cohabitations, and there are also changing roles of women in society, and there is being an extreme case of upper class and lower class. So we can say that the arguments that are given against this statement are more powerful, and it's very difficult to achieve value consensus at this stage. So this is the end of this question. So if you have any query, you can approach me, and inshallah I will be coming soon with the P2 of October November 2022 with you guys, and we will be doing family and education system from that paper. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.